Before we get into today's episode, I just want to let you guys know that today's episode is sponsored by Audible. Audible, if you've never used it before, it's the #1 place to get audiobooks, and you can actually get a free month. All you have to do is click on the link in the description below. You'll get a free 1-month trial, so 2 free audiobooks essentially. So go ahead and click on that. The site is, audibletrial.com/JKS, so you can also enter it in. Go there, sign up for a free trial if you want, or if not, that's fine too. And anyways, back to your regularly scheduled video. I'm not sure if anybody fell more spots throughout his draft class than Greedy Williams. I mean, there was some talk about him being a potential top 10 pick, maybe even a top 5 pick, and then he ended up falling all the way to the second round. That was midway through the season. He was getting talked about being that high, and just slowly fell and fell and fell. There were several reasons for this, of course. There was reports that he had some character issues on the field. People would want him to do certain things and he wouldn't want to. He also had some real concerns in the tackling game. But I actually thought that he played pretty well in his rookie year. I thought he had a pretty solid rookie season, and I thought for a second round pick was a pretty solid corner for Cleveland. Take a look at this play. What's going to happen is that it's going to be play action, and Greedy's in charge of covering that Buffalo Bills player right there, who's going to be running over to the middle of the field. So for Greedy, really the way that this could go wrong is that when the Bills player cuts, he could allow more separation. That Buffalo Bills player, he's not really going to fake. He's just going to start to run straight to the middle. But as you see right now, he's going to cut a little bit closer towards the sideline. So he was kind of running at an angle. Now he's basically just going to run straight, parallel with the line of scrimmage. He's just running straight to the sideline. And because of that one cut, it's not a bad move. It can allow for some separation. And so that's the plan there, and it does allow for some separation, but Williams is able to fight back and be able to still make the play, and that's one of the things I really like about Williams, is that he's really good at knocking the ball away when he's close. He has good ball skills, and if he's near it, he can make a play. I think some people could look at that play and say, well, hey, there was a small window there where maybe a perfect throw and a diving catch, and then you have a first down, and that's not good, right? And, yeah, I guess, but what are the chances of teams being able to do that? Not impossible, but very small. And, a play like this, where it was still a very well-ran route, Williams is able to just stay with him and, not allow too much separation. So he basically forces you to make a perfect throw and a perfect catch, which is very difficult to do. I was also incredibly pleasantly surprised with him being able to stop the run and with him being able to make tackles. I thought that his tackling ability was actually good, which was a surprise to me because I expected that to be his biggest weakness. And, Denzel Ward, that's probably his biggest weakness. So I'm thinking okay, you got a couple corners who can't tackle. That's not very good. But, listen, Williams can absolutely tackle. On this play, that's going to be the blocking concept, or at least part of it, the most important part. It's going to be run to the top of the screen, and Williams is going to be unblocked right here. So the goal is to just try to get around Williams, and he's the only unblocked guy. But just watch Williams this whole play, and watch how he gets in position over to the top, and then lowers his shoulder and is able to make a pretty quick hit. Doesn't allow the halfback to gain many yards. Just a good play from Williams. Again, that's not something that I saw much of in college, and I have to believe that he really made a serious effort in the offseason and in training camp, getting his tackling ability better because he heard those criticisms, and it worked. He's been very good. Now, one of his other criticisms has been being uncoachable, right? That's kind of something I brought up before. There was the reports about how guys were telling him, hey, try to do this a certain way, and he wouldn't listen and was still doing it the way he typically liked to do it. So I do think that, that's a concern, especially because I did notice him a couple times just doing something that was, he looked like a rookie to some degree. Like a play like this, it's a cover 3 zone, and they're going to have a receiver run an out route, and Williams is in charge of covering him. So this is a route that can be very good against this type of coverage. But it's especially good when you look at how Williams is playing it, where right after the ball is snapped, what's going to happen is that Williams is just going to be, he's running back like this, which isn't a terrible thing to do, but if you are going to turn your hips towards the middle of the field, you have to make sure that if the receiver does cut towards the sideline, you can then get back over. So typically the way you want to do that is by being in position much closer to the sideline than the receiver is. Keep in mind you have a safety who is deep, so you have help if the throw is over the middle of the field. Your goal is to just not allow them to get open towards the sideline, really, or get open deep. You always want to make sure you're further deep and further towards the sideline than your assigned man. And because of where Williams is, when that receiver does cut, he's able to get relatively easily open. Yes, there was a linebacker who could have maybe made a play too, but, that's a tough play for a linebacker to make. Again, how much blame do I put on Williams and how much blame do I put on the coaching staff? Maybe some of each. I thought that, Williams definitely, there was a couple moments like that. But at the same time, maybe it was just, the coaching staff wasn't helping him out too much. It's not like they've had a great coaching staff in Cleveland, so who knows? I also did notice that he can get a bit handsy at times. Like on a play like this, it's going to be a deep route, and he's going up one-on-one. So, This is up to him to make this play right here. And after the ball is snapped, what you're going to notice is that there is pretty much no separation. But the flip side is that because this is the ball that's getting thrown further deep, and because Williams, sort of had to turn his head to make sure he can keep up with that receiver, now he's in a position where he can't see where the ball is going to be thrown. So he's going to have to react, and he does. He's able to, at the last second, reach his hand in and knock the ball away. So good, right? Well, not exactly. There was a flag thrown, and I'll show the other angle. You can see him just pull a little bit right there, and that's the kind of thing where it's like he didn't really have to do that, He was in decent enough position. You can create some contact, but when you start pulling like that, that's really what's going to end up, getting a flag drawn. And it looked like almost like the pulling was less so to disrupt the play and more so just to keep himself in positions that he can disrupt the play. So, again, you would like to see him find a better way to do that because those do create penalties. At the end of the day, though, I do still stand by. What you have to do first is knock the ball away. What you have to do second is, make sure you don't get a penalty. So, you got to make sure that you don't get the penalty first. I get it. Or you got to make sure you don't allow the catch first. But at the same time, something I suspect that he will get better at with age, I think. I think one other thing that many people, myself included, were concerned about was just his weight. He's 6'2", which is good height for a corner, but he's only 180 pounds. So he's a skinny guy for sure. He definitely doesn't have a lot of extra weight on him. And so it makes you wonder, well, can, some of these bigger receivers push him around? And so let's take a look at that. With, we're going to have him going up again against Devontae Parker. Same guy he went up against on the last play, who, Parker, he's 1 inch taller and 30 pounds heavier than Williams, so you would think that he can maybe use size to his advantage. They're at the top of the screen, and Parker is running a slant route, which is a very good route against a one-on-one matchup, so this can absolutely work out well. And so, he's going to try to push off Williams, but watch how Williams just stays with him. He doesn't really allow there to be too much separation. A little separation, sure, but, at this point, what we know about Greedy is that as long as he's close, he can try to find a way to make the play, and he's then able to get his hand back in and knock it away. Again, good ball skills. Even the negative example I showed where he committed a penalty, he still knocked the ball away. He can definitely do that very well. And he plays relatively big, so you're not really going to be able to get a ton of separation by using your size, and you have to get more separation than you can get with him because he can come back and make the play, which is what makes him effective, I think. And I think he's, without a doubt, a very good number 2 corner, and I think he has potential to be much better. Defensive backs are, especially cornerbacks, those are the positions where historically you develop late. Historically, it takes you some time to develop. So, someone like Williams, who is already playing pretty well in his rookie season, you got to think the sky is the limit. And I think he's going to prove a lot of people wrong, I think, who passed on him. Again, Cleveland had a lot of issues last year, but their defense was actually pretty good. And, I think that they can be a lot better this season. Everyone talks about the talent. I think it probably got a bit overblown last year with how much talent they have. But I think they can be a playoff team, or at least contend for a playoff spot. Absolutely. And I think their defense is going to be a huge part of it. And I think Williams is a significant part of their defense. So that's what I think. That's what I think of his rookie season. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. What did you think of Greedy's rookie season? I always love hearing from you. And of course, as always, Thanks for watching.